Okay, I want to show you how, the razzle dazzle with keywords and how to get around with those as you come across ideas in a different database this time. So research databases, and I'm going to go to the letter P, and we're looking for PsycInfo. The one we looked at before is mostly on social work, social services, that sort of thing. PsycInfo comes from psychology. The cool thing about psychology literature, let's see, PsycInfo. Cool thing about psychology literature as opposed to social services literature is psychology is where there's a lot more assessment and evidence-based fundamental things. So that's where interventions are created. Social work might be the case studies where they're implemented. So feel free to go back and forth between the databases. I know a lot of the faculty in social work prefer this database. So if we just look for marriage, we're looking at all the psychology articles published in the last 40 years, and we're getting 66,000. What you would want to do is add a keyword. And sometimes you can look in this list. I'm pointing at the list. This is foolish, isn't it? Because we're both facing you. But you can see here, there's a list of other things to look for. Ooh, there's an idea. So in an industrial classification, sometimes in a profession, they will say, well, I'm a marriage therapist, or I'm a family therapist. They all go to boil down to marriage and family therapy. Sometimes it works that way, sometimes it doesn't. So one of the things that you do is you can put it into, there's already, and counseling. But if you put that into quotes, it's going to look for that as a single keyword, and it's going to describe a lot of those people that are doing counseling. So we went from 66,000, down to 2,000. That's really great. What are we trying to do, though? We are not looking at counseling per se. We want to look at less about practice and more about tools and instruments that we can use. So we want to add an and I don't know which word I want to use. Measurement, so I put it in what's called a nesting, it's parentheses. If I don't know what word I want it to follow, you know what, I don't think it, I want to assess it, don't I? I want to measure it or assess it. And here's one last trick, just to muddy the waters even further. If I don't know they're talking about assessment, assessing, or just assess, if I type the prefix, just that first little bit, and then a star, it'll catch all of those words. Measure. So this is a complex keyword search, but instead of 2,000 or 66,000 things that I'm not interested in, we hopefully should get a very narrow list of the things that I am directly interested in. Oh, there we go, competency-based assessment measure. That might actually be a good one. This one's an article, kind of like a case study. Oh, here's a scale. Oh, there's another word. So we can, let's see if we get more. So we had 406. Ooh, 504. Oh, look at that, assessment scale. So let's try assessment scale. Remember, we don't do parentheses on a single word. We do quote marks. All of a sudden, okay, so that might not be so great, but all of a sudden we have 8 that are violence assessment, religious and spiritual, clinical programming, risk behavior, so academic high risk behaviors. Isn't that great? When you're doing keywords, don't feel stuck on that one keyword, but let yourself go down these different rabbit holes and see what's down there. Assessment scale looks pretty good, but if we go back, you can let me see all this. This one might be the best one, so I'll include that in the email.